Hey guys, my name's Dee, this is Heroine's Corner and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about some Black British 2021 book releases. So I understand this video is very late on the year calendar. It is March and 3 months have gone with a lot of book releases, but I feel like I still wanted to do this video even though it's sort of late, because I wanted to highlight some Black British books that are coming out in 2021. A lot of these books are going to be in the earlier part of 2021, and I'm only going to be talking about like around 10. These are the books that I'm most excited for, most wanting to read, and I think I'm going to do another video like this maybe towards the end of the year, in like September, like early autumn. Remember, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and follow me on my Twitter and Bookstagram. But without further ado, let's get into these books. So the first book I want to highlight in this video is We Are All the Birds of Uganda by Hafsa Zayan, and I feel like a lot of people heard about this book, so I won't talk about it too much. But this was published on the 21st of January, so you can already order it now. And essentially we follow two different timelines. So we have Uganda in the 1960s, and we follow a family who's kind of struggling on the edge, and they're just going through a lot of tough times at the moment. And then we follow the present day timeline when Samir, who's like a high-flying lawyer, doesn't really like his job. There's a tragedy back in Uganda and he has to fly back to Uganda and basically face all of the familial troubles that have been happening and all that stuff. Like, I'm not quite sure, you guys know I don't like knowing a lot about the plots of this book. This just sounds like a lovely kind of family story that's very like rich and deep, and I've just heard amazing things about it as always. Secondly, we have Mrs. Death by Selena Godden, and this is a book that I really wanted to read for the Women's Prize. I thought it was going to be at the Women's Prize long list, and I was like, okay, I can finally read this book now. This is going to be my chance to read this book, and it was on the long list, which is a shame because I know it was on several different predictions that people are guessing, but it wasn't on the long list, so I'm going to have to just read this on my own volition, which is very fine because this book sounds amazing. So it's published on the 28th of January, and essentially we follow death, and the personification of death in this book is a Black British woman, working class, and essentially she just travels around London telling stories, picking up stories. Is that kind of like book, but I really love the personification of death being this like Black British woman. Like, I don't know, because when you do see personifications of death, it's either like this omnipresent like kind of voice, something like the book thief, or we have it as this like brooding like pale guy who's like stalking young girls or something. And so I really want to see how this personification turns out. Yeah, a lot of people were predicting this to be on the Women's Prize long list, so it should have some element of wow, this is excellent. And then the next book I want to talk about is The New Age of Empire by Kehinde Andrews, and this is a book I've been seeing a lot. I follow this author on Twitter and he always has something interesting to say. This book was released on the 4th of February, so you can pick this up now if you want to. But essentially it's talking about how colonialization and like colonialism and anti-blackness still really informs the present day, and how we can't just dismiss the empire. There's been a lot of talk about the empire recently and just current affairs and all these different things, and I just want to read more about the history of it and how it still informs our present day, and maybe just that really. I don't know, because I feel like people forget that the empire and colonialization, the history, it's history, and it's kind of like my grandparents were colonial subjects, so it's not old history. It's very, very recent history, and it still informs our present day, so that's why I really want to read this book. The next book I want to talk about is Who's Loving You? Love Stories by Women of Color, and this was edited by Sarita Domingo, and this is essentially just a collection of love stories. And I was really interested in reading this book just because I've been seeing it a lot, and I do want to read more like anthologies written by like women of color, and this topic is just very nice. Just a nice topic to cover. And also I realized that one of the authors in this collection is Sarah Collins, the author of The Confessions of Ryan Lantern, and you guys know I absolutely adored that book. And I was thinking, like, when is she going to release another book? And then I looked at the authors who are in this anthology, and she was there. So I can't wait to read this book and her story in this book. And this came out the 4th of March, so again, you can pick this up if you want to, if that interests you. And now we have a very popular YA fantasy book which is coming out on the 20th of April, and that is Witches Steeped in Gold by Shannon Smart. And this is a Jamaican inspired fantasy book where we follow two rival witches, and they basically have to like work together to topple one of their moms. So like the mom who like rules this kind of kingdom or area, she's not very nice, and they both have to like team up the daughter of the mom and then the witch who is imprisoned by the mom to take her down essentially. And I just need to read more Caribbean inspired fantasy, to be honest. I did read Queen of the Conquered last year, and I absolutely adored that book. I really hope this book follows that book in the sense of how dark it is. Like, I don't know, I just really love seeing female protagonists being so morally grey and making very questionable decisions, and I kind of hope that that book is in the similar vein of Queen of the Conquered in that sense. But also I just can't wait to see how Jamaican folklore and just myth and legend influence the story. And yeah, I've only been seeing good things about it, of course. So I can't wait to pick this up when it comes out. Next book I want to talk about comes out 2 days after Witches Steeped in Gold, and that is The Dark Lady by Akala. And this is like a YA historical fiction fantasy novel. I'm just going to read to you what the summary kind of says. A pickpocket with an exceptional gift, a prisoner of extraordinary value, an orphan haunted by dreams of the mysterious Dark Lady. Henry is an orphan and outsider thief. He is also a 15-year-old invested with magical powers. And I do not know anything else about this book other than it's also set in Renaissance England. But I'm going to read whatever Akala puts out, and knowing that he's written like a YA fantasy historical fiction novel essentially, like I'm picking that up. I don't know why there hasn't been more buzz around this. Like when I actually found out this was coming out, I'm like, what? Like this is actually coming out because no one's talking about it. I adore like everything what Akala does and says, and he's a really just intellectual, thought-provoking guy. So of course I'm going to read his YA novel. And then the last book that's coming out in April that I've put down on my list here is Dream Country by Ashea Brown, and this comes out the 27th of April. And in this story we follow triplet gods, the god of sleep, god of nightmares, and god of dreams, and they are basically bound in this land or like realm because one of them murdered their mother. And everything is kind of like set like that until a mortal who has fantastical abilities, like really powerful abilities, enters this realm and basically shakes stuff up. I don't know much about the plot other than that, but I was sent an arc by the publisher Ennui Press. This just sounds like a book that's up my street. I love seeing gods, I love seeing like siblings in books, and apparently this book has a lot of different cultures blended in there. So I know we have like Kenyan cultures and Brazilian cultures blended in, so I am just going to read this book. We have a very popular YA debut again, and that is Ace of Spades by Frida Abike Ayumide, and this comes out the 28th of May, I'm pretty sure. 27th of May. It comes out 27th of May, and it's like a dark academia book. So we have these two black protagonists, and they're in this very prestigious, very white private school. I think there are only like black kids that are in that school, and apparently like there's an anonymous person who's like sharing secrets and stuff like in the school, and it's threatening their kind of reputation, so they have to kind of hunt down who's sending all these secrets. And apparently this book has a lot of social commentary on institutional racism and just microaggressions and just being black in a very white environment. And I can't wait to read this. I just want to read more black and dark academia books essentially. And you know, we're in a private school, there's a secret person leaking secrets, and you know what I mean, it just sounds like such a lovely book to just like read very quickly. And yeah, it's just been getting a lot of hype and I want to read it. That's it. Now we have like one of my like most anticipated reads of 2021, and that is Assembly by Natasha Brown, and this comes out the 3rd of June 2021. And It's so funny, but I'm so excited for this book because it's not like I have a lot to go off, but essentially we follow a Black British woman who is about to attend this very lush and lavish garden party in the English countryside. And before she goes into the party, she kind of reflects on her life and all the pieces of her identity and what she's kind of done and sacrificed to get to that point. And I don't know, it just seems like it's going to be such a character story. And while I was reading it, I don't know why, but I was just getting a lot of Girl, Woman, Other vibes. There's another nonfiction on this list, and that is Sister Sister by Candice Braithwaite, and this comes out the 8th of July. And this is a collection of essays by the author talking about just growing up black womanhood, black girlhood, things that she wished that she knew, essentially. She released a very acclaimed book, I Am Like Your Baby Mother, last year, I'm pretty sure, and just talk about like black motherhood and like being pregnant while black and all these things. And I was supposed to read that already, but I was waiting for the paperback to come out. I think the paperback came out like really recently, like last month or something, so I will be picking up her first book, but also very excited to read her second book because I do have an interest in like reading about black girlhood and black womanhood because it is so different from what is the standard girlhood and motherhood, you know what I mean, and womanhood. So those are all the books I'm gonna talk about in this video. Just 10 Black British releases coming out in 2021 or in the early part of 2021 that should be on your radar, that definitely on my radar and want to read within the next like 12 months at least. I just love the diversity of like Black British writing. Like in 2021 we have like stuff like the personification of death in Mrs. Death and Mrs. Death, and then we also have like a dark academia like YA thriller and Ace of Spades, and then we also have like non-fiction talking about colonialization. But that's essentially it, guys. Remember to like and subscribe, remember to follow me on Twitter and my bookstagram, and I'll see you guys soon on another video. Bye.